do it. Boss at the bottom of your screen, Betfas at the top, and Betfas saying he likes Expo, and it's looking a lot like it's going to be 3.0. And look at that. Does Boss get in front and the Heal Spirit to control the Expo? 6-man with a 3-3 split, and he's going to go ahead and burn that thing down right at the bridge. Take care of the Expo, and might loom to the left behind all of this. We'll see. Decides to hold off, forcing Bet to spend a little bit more there, and now has a nice 3 elixir advantage for the American. Boss going with a very popular balloon variant at the moment. And Bet going with, hasn't played Expo all day, and now here finally playing Expo as we have reached the last of our today's lower bracket matchups. This is an elimination game. Loser is out of the event. Winner goes on to play in our finals day. And I like the deck choice from Boss here. It's good in the meta overall, but I also think it's good against this Expo deck. I could be wrong. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know the exact numbers on this matchup, but it seems like this one's pretty good against Expo. Yes, often you think about Expo using all the buildings to control balloons, but look at the elixir difference right now. Boss up by a nice little margin. No significant damage either way. 22-14 top right-hand side as we go into double elixir time. And Boss cycles his fish boy to the left-hand lane. Defensive Expo set up, and this is what Bet's going to be doing the whole rest of the game, I think. Is just setting up defensive Expos, trying to give up as little damage as possible, and then trying to go for an Expo in triple or maybe some spell cycle. Can he keep that bow on the board? Can't. The E-Barbs penetrate deep into the board. And going for a King Tower activation here, not going to get it. The Recruit goes to the tower instead. And Bet sets up another Expo. Really unhappy he didn't get that King Tower activation there. The E-Barb split behind the 3-3 split is really powerful overall for this deck, but certainly this matchup in particular, because watch this, right? Heal Spirit does get absorbed by that log. But look at just how much coverage is given to the, and that the balloon doesn't go to King Tower, forcing the Ice Spirit out. Doesn't get the drop, but still gets death damage. Bet just can't believe it. These interactions super not going his way right now. And this time a little more aggressive with the balloon as Boss, as we are in sudden death. Knows he needs to get a little bit more tower damage here. So far the game's going pretty well for him, except he needs a bit more tower damage, and that barb on the right-hand side is what he needed exactly. Huge damage, and now Boss in a great spot with 90 left. And he's calling the good game, and they're both calling a good game. Boss had to get aggressive there, had to make sure he got more damage before he got the triple. And he did it. Huge game 1 win for Boss. Could he still throw here? Sure. But am I probably calling this one here? Yeah, look at that. Fish boy on the right-hand side. Bet has to spend even more, and that's going to be down to 128. Bet so far behind on Elixir right now. Of course, way far behind on damage. We're not going to see a snowball, middle snowball cycle. I guess because he could get both the Tesla, the Expo, and tower damage from it, so why not go ahead and do that little cycle there. Final 30 seconds. Snowball in, balloon a sneaker right on by, and Fireball. Is that going to hit it? I think it does. There you go. Boss taking game number 1. Very nicely played. Calm. Good pickup of the Expo early, didn't panic, and then stayed in the pocket as time went on and put the pressure on when necessary. And there you go, taking a look at the post-game stats evaluation. And you see a decent data pool here of just under 300 games. Leans a bit towards Boss. So it takes a good meta deck pick, but that also goes against what Bet would most likely want to play. And the ban is going to be Royal Recruits out of Bet. So Royal Recruits out for the remainder of this match. Not going to be allowed for either side. And here we go, jumping into game number 2, Boss with the advantage. And maybe Bet going right back to more Expo here. And certainly look like it, and Boss maybe going Hog triple spell. So yeah, it is going to be Expo for Bet. And Boss going Hog triple spell here. We'll see if he's going with, it looks like he's going to be going with the Royal Delivery version over the Snowball version. And delivers to the left-hand side. And a little chip damage early from Boss. This is going to be compelling as we get to the end about how the spell cycle part of this works. Tesla for the Hog in the middle. First minute away. Only log damage so far. Maybe a Spear. Maybe I missed that. But either way, not much damage at the moment. Recruit cycle in the back. If you're playing this deck, this Hog Triple Spell deck a lot, you probably played it against 3.0. Interesting to see him cycling the Recruit with that delivery in the back here. Logboard chip on the right-hand side. Plays the Hog just as the Archer gets within Princess Tower range, does the American to make sure no extra damage on that side. Ever so slight Elixir advantage for Bet, given up by cycling those Skeletons. Now Expo goes left, just as the Knight goes to the right. Bomb Tower high with the EQ. And Expo connects on that left-hand tower, and that's a big problem for Boss. Can the Hog get all the way in for a shot on the tower? And it doesn't. 2186 to 1911. Delivery will come high on the Archers. Back going to set up Tesla in the middle. And now that Boss plays the Knight, you see the Fireball does not get the Knight. That's actually really big and really, really good for Boss here. Fireball not getting the Knight means you can protect those Archers a whole bunch, and now the Hog comes through on the left-hand side, giving some more log value as it does die just short of the Archer. 1667 to 1838, and that's why you see Bet cycling to the right-hand side with the Expo instead of going to the left one more time. Skeletons would split in the middle, but he can't do it right now because of the Archer and Spear on the left, and so you see, again, another Expo connection, and now Bet has dual lane pressure. Does have the single tower damage lead at 1576 on the bottom left-hand side, but there's dual lane for both players. Knight goes into the middle, Knight goes into the middle again on both sides, so good protection using that 3 elixir from both players. Hog gonna go right to that Tesla. And does the bomb tower? No, it does not get on the Expo. Good cycle from Bet to get the Knight down. And there you see the Skeleton cycled, but maybe a little bit early on that Skeleton cycle out of Mini, or out of Boss. I was watching Mini just a minute ago. And that's why you get that connection there, because those Skeletons came out one step too early in the cycle for Boss. EQ on the left-hand side. Fireball cycle to nothing there, but still a connection. The timing, the pickup timing from Boss is really just ever so slightly off with these Skeleton cycles, and it's cost him a few hundred HP in both lanes. EQ in, but does not get the Tesla. And now going to be a setup here. Fireball cycle to the left-hand side and log as well. Bet cycling really hard right now, and I'm wondering if that heavy of pure cycle at that stage could give Boss a bit of an open. I could be wrong here. Straight up fireball cycle again. 364. Delivery and Knight up high, Hog behind. Trying to get the push to the outside, but can't do it is Boss. But a nice log. The Tesla high. Boss going to go back to a Hog one more time here, I think. There we go. Hog high up. Fireball trying to stop the Hog from getting in. EQ working on it. Log trying to make some room. Not going to do it. That's going to be it. Bet going to take the win. And a little bit of BM here, and that's why you hate Expo players. That right there. That thanks at the end is why you hate Expo players. 100%. So Bet goes back to his 3.0 Expo in game number 2. Throws some shade at the end after holding on against the Hog EQ. And I guess you see why. That the matchup data has this 70-30 for Hog EQ. I don't know if I 100% buy that at this level. At this level, I don't think that number is accurate. And really funny, in the chat for the CWA Cup is Payne's Lucas Gamer, who just commented one trick in the chat. So that one's really, really funny. And no question here, Boss banning Expo. So now we'll see. Is Bet truly going to one-trick his way into the next round here, or could he actually get it done? Boss versus Bet coming up in just a moment here for game number 3. And yeah, for those of you joining this on YouTube, because if you didn't guess, those of you in the stream right now, this is the featured game of the day for YouTube. I'll post this one up probably overnight. And then, of course, tomorrow we'll get into the actual finals for this one. Those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for joining. Here we go. Game number 3. I'm really pumped for this one. Boss had a great tournament. Bet has been holding off on Expo until today. And let's go into it. Bans are Expo and Royal Recruits. Very, very interesting pair of bans. Loser is out of the tournament, as we are in the lower or losers bracket of this double elimination event. Winner moves on to still be in the running for a piece of that $1,600 prize pool. And Boss using the Goblin Cage and getting the sort of one of the purposes about it when it was first conceived of by the Supercell Clash Royale development team was as a way to bank Elixir. And you're seeing him get the full value of that Elixir bankage and then put way too much into the poison. So gets all the Elixir banking done, then gives it all away by loading up in the same lane. Hunter to the left-hand side for Boss. Looking like Bet's going to be playing Splash Yard most likely here. Should be Graveyard both directions, actually. In the bar barrel cycle to the outside, knowing the Boss doesn't want to spend, he does. He was high to support the Fish Boy. Fishman will slide on through for a couple of slaps here with the stun. So cool little sequence and keeps the Ewiz alive some more. Great sequence there from Boss. Really, really great. First 2 minutes away as we go into double Elixir time. It is Boss with the lead of about 200 HP on the left-hand side. Running MK Graveyard as opposed to Betfas, who's running just the more popular version of Splash Yard, or the most popular version of Splash Yard. Ice Wiz picks up the Mega Knight. Does the King Tower activation come in? And it does not. This has been such a bad matchup, or match overall, for Bet and King Tower activations. Missed a couple in game number 1. Misses one now here in game number 2. He still controlled the Mega Knight like he had to, but would have loved to get that King Tower activation. Would have been a huge difference maker in a Graveyard matchup. Of course, this specific Graveyard deck from Boss does better with a King Tower activation than many other Graveyard decks because of the beefy Mega Knight and how often distracting the Mega Knight pulls him into the center. This is probably, you never want a King Tower activation as graveyard. This is probably the best of the graveyard decks out there when it comes to dealing with King Tower activations. Mega Knight cycled low, Boss poisons on defense. And notice the difference in graveyard placements that you've seen so far from Boss and Bet. Boss is still doing the old graveyard placement, which will again be the new graveyard placement after the rework is reverted. Mega Knight to the left. Fish Boy slides on through. Or was it already reverted? Now I'm looking at skeleton spawns. And Boss goes hardcore with the Mega Knight to the right-hand side. The Bar Barrel gets forced out. But gonna have to spend a lot to control that, will Bet. And Boss sets up Cage right into his weak side tower. Boss now trying to change the discussion, move it to the right-hand side as we get into the final minute. Triple Elixir on its way. Graveyard in for Bet. Mega Knight goes right to the Bomb Tower Ice Wiz on the right-hand side for Boss. Boss really wants this brawl to get away from his Princess Tower on the left, and it does. And now that high poison going to give a good opportunity, and immediately Boss goes in hard on the left-hand side. The moment that poison comes out, goes a graveyard poison of his own. Brawler still alive for a moment, and Hunter working on the right-hand side. Final 30 seconds. Doesn't get as much damage as he would have liked as Boss on the left-hand side. Bet now with a light counter push coming in. Mega Knight to control here, but the Baby Dragon in the middle with the Bar Barrel working on that Hunter. Graveyard in one more time on the left-hand side, and this is starting to feel like Bet has got it all the way sewn up. It's so hard to come back from a graveyard matchup, matchup late in the game. And now play on the right-hand side out of Boss. I don't know about that. His control on the left-hand side not going to work. Baby Dragons get in. That's going to be tower down here. Well, not quite. Doesn't matter. Bet holds on and gets the win here in game number 3. And takes a big step towards a piece of that $1,600.